What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? It's your boy, Mr. Black. A lot of y'all been messing with me for a little minute. Y'all know how I get down. Hey, I got habits and shit like that. You know, I do things, so uh, the ritual processes that we do. But to engage in one right now, I was trying to post this video to social media. Y'all know anybody who been following me know I be going live and all that shit. So I was gonna go live and post this video, and hey, the universe blocked that shit because this is what I'm supposed to be doing anyway, is making videos and uploading them to different sites. People have been requesting this. I know that I'm supposed to do it, and I have not been doing it. You did, and today, and this is still the 11 o'clock portal. Today, January 10th, 2020, I kept trying to post a video to Facebook in this 11 o'clock portal to emphasize this particular word, upload, that I'm about to bring. And man, my laptop, it kept going off. Facebook kept going off. We can't post a video. But I'm not even ending these videos. It's just as soon as I come on, one time about 6 people came in, boom, it killed. Next time the same thing, kill. Next time like one person come, kill. Third time was not the charm as far as posting, making that video. Third time was the charm as far as reaching me and speaking to me and telling me that, hey man, you're supposed to be doing this anyway. So today gonna be the first day that I posted a video in a moment. And I made solely just on one topic and isolating for a particular subject, you dig? And here it is, So today, a message came into my spirit last night. And it's regarding the integration of self. Because, people, people will say that we respond to the higher consciousness and we have this awareness, we know what the fuck going on. We woke up, is what we hear said all the time. We woke up. So when you wake up, you wake up right in your now. And you, hopefully, mostly people become aware of all the stuff that's happening outside their body. But the thing is that we bypass where things should be at. Who woke up? I woke up. You woke up. We woke up individually, you did. And the greatest thing is this: self. When we wake up, we should observe self. We should become aware of self rather than the things outside our body. We become aware of, because all of that's consciousness. Whatever's on the news, radio, social media, whatever information you're intaking, that's consciousness. You feel me? So people are like, oh yeah, I'm conscious, man. They not conscious. Everybody conscious, or else they'll be dead. And that's still consciousness. They will be conscious in death. You did? Death is another plane of consciousness. We're in life. We're agreeing that we're in life. Running around breathing and seeing shit in this conscious reality right here. The other beings that are here, they seeing it too. We just don't see them. Well, the key thing, man, is when you're waking up is that you begin to pay attention to self. As hard as this may sound, because you can't help but, look, before you woke up, you already knew injustice was happening. You already knew racism is real. You should have. You already knew unfair systems and shit exist. You woke up in the midst of that shit, and all of a sudden you can identify it. The first person who should be addressed and must be tweaked, fixed, adjusted is yourself. Because whoever the police killed before you woke up, They was already doing that. They was already going to do that. Whatever's happening before you woke up is just now happening when you wake up, as you've awakened. And so you waking up to look at yourself. You got to fix yourself so you know how to go outside, engage these things outside of your body. You become different. So the way that you used to initiate Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, maybe that's not the most effective way to do it now. You have to discover that. You got to look inside ourselves because, if we're coming from whatever belief systems or things that we had established as being true for ourselves, the first thing about waking up is that most of the time we have rejected those things. Waking up is saying, hey man, look, I got a new mindset now. I believe some new things now. I concentrate on new things. But you still have to go back and look at those old things. You have to go back and dissect why you believed them, what caused you to believe them. Some of them are good, so you need to go back and decide which ones are good. What did I learn prior to waking up that is actually profitable to who I have become and who I am and who I desire to be? Because on both planes, you had things that built you as a person. Parts of your character that was an asset, as well as you had things that may have not been that productive to be a part of you. The thing is, though, you have to go back and relook at them and rediscover them to find out who you are. Because especially if you're coming from belief systems that promoted sin, the sin doctrines. Okay, with sin doctrine, man, you run across a whole lot of stuff that's, is your natural character. And people have been saying, hey man, it's wrong for you to do these things. You have to go back and revisit that. They may have been right, what I'm saying? Some things you shouldn't be, probably don't make sense to be just messing with these things. And then some things was other people's ideas about life that were not necessarily true. And in doing, in our participating with their ideas and agreeing with them, we placed ourselves in certain realms of conviction to where the natural parts of our character are not celebrated. They are not encouraged to explore and to become educated about. And so what do? We suppress them, which is not good. Or we aren't honest and we sneak around and do these things, which is still not good because you're placing yourself in a place of condemnation to where you feel like, you ain't doing the right shit all the time, man. You got to appropriate energy into not getting found out and all this stuff. When meanwhile, it might just be a natural action that you're doing. It's just a part of your character, but you have to discover that and be certain that it's not somebody else oppressing the real you, your character, your nature as a person, because of some things that they believe that they haven't, investigated. You have to identify yourself. Be honest. Write down the shit you like. Write down your dislikes. Then take the time to be honest about if you have a legitimate reason to like or dislike either one of these things. If this is profitable, what you think you should remove from your character, stuff like that. When you do not do this, then it leads to denial about things. Because you never address what's going on in your life. Oh, that's just how I am. Oh, that's just, man, everybody do that. We begin to justify. and try to reason shit away, you know. That's why people eat bad and drink bad, because, you know, someone they know and do trust and do love also did it. But if 5,000 people doing the wrong thing and you come in there and do it with them, it's 5,001 people doing the wrong thing. Even if they don't die. Still they're doing the wrong thing. The thing is about identifying yourself, you have to realize that in our past belief system, man, it delivered us to denial. It caused us to a lot of things. If you coming from religion, then you have within you, you have at one time submitted to unfair tolerance. You know, we be tolerant of shit because we feel like these deities gonna appreciate us being tolerant of these things. Meanwhile, we actually just enduring suffrage. We're being overwhelmed and silent in the place of things that are created for our demise, or at least to make us not be comfortable and to not allow us to advance and grow in life. You did? And we're supposed to speak out on these things, man. You know, we have a lot of characteristics that we developed that are straight suicidal, but we receive them from other people's preconceived ideas and notions. They're telling us what's right and wrong. You got to become human. Awakening, the first thing about awakening is becoming human. A lot of people jump straight to the gods. I did too. I woke up, oh man, shit, we gods. That's kind of true. And it's kind of not. You're only a god if you're a fucking god. If you're looking at something that's not a god, no matter what it's saying it's a god, it's not a god. Humans are the gods of this universe. In this earth realm, we're the gods. That's why they convinced us that somebody else was gods. Like, if you need a god, if there are any gods needed down here in earth or up here, wherever the fuck we are, if there are any gods needed in earth, humans have to be the gods. Because this is our shit. Humans have to be the gods. Mankind doing it right. Notice I said mankind. There's a difference between humans and mankind. Mankind's are mirrors. They're reflections of what the fuck humans are. They fake. They clones. They humanoids. All type of shit. All artificial intelligence. Things like that of that nature. The humans are the real deal. The humans are the ones that made all this other shit possible. So you have to come to being a human, and guess what? A slave is not a human. Slave is a slave. You could be a human, but he's not being a human because he's allowing himself to be a slave. Humans have the capacity to do whatever they want to do. Believe whatever they desire to believe. There are people who know that. So they supply you other shit to believe. We were always, excuse me, we were always supposed to believe in ourselves. People came and taught us to believe in other things outside of ourselves. And that created a being who would allow themselves to be enslaved. And when all of these things happen, they keep it coming. They keep it coming in our life. And that it is trauma. So when you wake up, you have to heal from that trauma. We talk about integrating the self now, integrating self, integration of yourself. Because all of this shit, however long you've been on earth, all of that shit, all of the shit that has happened outside of your body and within your body are all the same thing. And that's all your experience on earth. And so the unity that everyone is calling for, they have to unite within themselves first. They must first unite as individuals. We must call all of this energy back that we've misspent and ill invested energy and shit like that. The energy that we have received that is not conducive to us, we got to get that out. It's a process. Some people probably do just jump in this bitch and jump straight to voodoo. And maybe even effective. A lot of people say I moved fast. But what I would say is that you aren't aware of what a person is actually doing in their swift movement. There's some people that's moving fast that really got it. I was one of those. I was one of those people, man. The universe was, the right people was just, man, I was coming in their path or they was coming in my path. So my awakening just took off really, really, really quick. It's like, for 2 years I was on some freedom fighting shit. And then one day, you know, I was on freedom fighting, just mad at white people, that shit every day. That's all I was on. And one day, man, when it was all, now I had a mental breakdown one day behind some shit. It was involving white people and police, I'm sure. I had that breakdown, and after that, it went on for hours. See, you're in a time loop. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to break that time loop. That's your objective, is to break that time loop. People have been coming down this bitch trying to go to heaven for a long time. You're breaking that time loop. People have been coming on this bitch taking bullshit off their enemies for a long time. You're breaking that time loop. You're not decoding the matrix to get necessarily out of it. You're decoding it to function differently within it. And the only way we do that is to properly address self. I arrived at a point, man, I had that mental breakdown. The first one, that was just the first mental breakdown I had. Then. And by the end of that night, because it went on for some hours, and it was triggered chemically as well as the energy outside my body, I believe. But it was definitely triggered chemically first. Chemically, I began to OD. That's what happened. Because I was bombarded by information for about 6 or 7 hours straight. And I was being influenced by that information. It was causing me to react in a certain way for about 6 hours. Acting out. And for some reason, I had no weapons. Well, no reason. Ain't no for some reason. I had no weapons because it wasn't meant for me to have no weapons, because I would have murdered some motherfuckers that night. Excuse me. The last 2 hours of this breakdown, I was on the phone with someone for about 45 minutes. I'm sure I forgot. I didn't even know I was on the phone with them because I wasn't talking to them. I was handling shit outside my body, for real. I was getting violent. I went on the church, ran on the church. The pastor wasn't there. I told his people, hey, tell him he need to see me. He know me. You know, tell him we got to talk. I went in another dude church. Them people begged me to leave out that bitch. His security. And then they knew me. The security knew me, and they just like, man. But check this out. See, that's why I like this dude. Oh, he a big preacher for where he is. But he ain't no big preacher for like where I came from up under. Because, hey, them dudes were scared to put hands on me. And I'm in that bitch getting violent. Meanwhile, it's in the Bible where, they would have been justified in physically removing me from that place. But guess what? I'm a God. So, hey, I was protected in that shit, even though I was out of my mind. So, and we're going to revisit that also so you can understand the magnificence of what happened, not only in my situation, but in your situation as well. So, like I said, that was the first time, then the second to deal with both of those preachers. I never got to address either one of them. And then that night, after about 2 hours, the person I was on the phone with said, hey, you need a vacation. And they sent for me. They sent for me from like 4 or 5 states away. It was a woman, queen, a god. Yo, hey, she did her magic. She was the first person to ask me what I felt about voodoo, I think. Either her or one of my other friends. I was like, voodoo. And before I could answer, I realized, hold up. I did not have the luxury of saying, oh, that's evil, because I didn't believe in evil anymore. And I was like, I say, man, I don't know. I said, I had some experience with it, when I used to hustle or whatever. So, hey, yeah, I know it worked. And excuse me, I said, the way I mentally processed it was, I said, you know what? The Bible states that we should not engage in witchcraft. However, it never said that it did not work. And so I was like, shit. So witchcraft and voodoo and all of this shit is just, it's an enmity with God. It is. It's totally contradicted to what the fuck God is. God said it's evil, so according to that reality, it is. When you go over there, if you believe that, then it's evil. But if you step outside of that, where people fucking with it that don't believe in that, then it's no longer evil. It's just science, So anyway, she called me and man, she healed me. She took like 3 weeks. She made me a fucking man again, I'm saying 3 weeks. The way time go, what I know now, I'm thinking 2 back then, more so, and it was like about 3 months. But she fixed me, Started back functioning like a man. I got a job. Started believing in myself again, because that's what God do. God build confidence. You feel me? She was a God outside my body. But the God in her was able to speak to God in me, because I already knew that I was a God at that time. So I was able to receive her healing or whatever. And, time went on. And, still talking about integration of self. And I started noticing all this different stuff, And I realized that in my awakening, I was discovering who I was, that I was not this bad guy, wasn't a fucking thug, and, all of this shit. And I am at the same time, you know. But per their reality and per other people's reality about your life, they demonize everything you do, everything you say. Well, that's their perspective about your life. It does not have to be true though. So if their perspective should not override our own perspectives and perceptions about ourselves. And the only way we can know, the only way we can become confident in who we are is to actually look at the things that comprise us, the habits, the words we use, our notions and inclinations. You have to bring all of that, consider all of that shit. And that's where you're going to find your magic also. Because you're going to find all of the people who have, when you look at the people who, if you say they were enemies or any confrontation, shit like that, and you look at why the confrontation arose, sometimes it's our own fault. And in growth, by us looking back at our character, we're able to see that about ourselves. Well, that's the purpose of looking at ourselves and being honest is because we're identifying things about our character. And so we're like, oh yeah, I was down bad on that shit right there. So yeah, oh yeah, I do that all the time, man. That's fucked up. I shouldn't be that way. Okay, I'm going to remove that from me, from within myself. That's going to make me a better person if I separate that from me. However, in these other situations, oh, all right, I see why they was upset. They was upset because I wouldn't let them manipulate me, you know. And so I was able to alleviate that situation because I was assertive. And so they hate my assertiveness. You did. They hate the fact that I got this superpower that won't allow me to get run over. And then I can see through people's bullshit, you know. So when you lying to me, I know how to cipher that shit. I know that you're being disgenuine. And so now you're mad. You're mad because I'm a magical motherfucker. You're mad because I'm a god and I look through your bullshit. But you don't understand. We only discover these things by actually looking at ourselves. And it's important because, like I said, there's a lot of trauma there. Personally, with me, you know, you have to take the time to do the self-love, self-care, self-healing. Because it's different things that and different people in your life that, you know, you've been tolerating and suffering their bullshit that may not have been that productive in your life also. And if we don't heal from it, if we aren't honest about whether we liked it, disliked it, whether it was a problem or not, and we need that to be alleviated from our life, we need to get that relationship over with because they're a user and yeah, I ain't feeling that shit about them no more. So yeah, but we're honest about these things, and then we're able to heal from the trauma, move it, address why we don't like certain individuals, address why we aren't appreciative of every aspect of our life and the magic that we're invoking to create this reality of out our body. Why are we being traumatized? Heal from it and learn that it's okay. You know, identify when we're making a serious address for an issue that's in our life that we feel should be molded and cultivated into something different so that we can become better. And we have to realize also if we're just succumbing to other people's opinion, their projections about our life because of what they don't know or what we're not doing for them in their life according to their reality. You have to make sure that your reality remains the most emboldened over everybody else's. You know, that old man, I give a motherfucker my last dollar. Oh, you can share. It's good to share. You have a right not to share it all. But if all you have was a dollar and someone needed a dollar, they genuinely need a dollar. and you give them that fucking dollar. Now your ass broke. And what you did was just transferred energy. You gave them your wealth. You gave them the little bit of power that you did have. The total power. We don't call it no little because all you had was that dollar, but they didn't even have a dollar. Now you transferred it. You gave them your dollar for their need. See how that works? And imagine any one group of people, any one of them. Don't think multiple groups, but imagine any group of people believing messed up science like that because that's science. Imagine any one group of people for 500 years or more practicing that spiritual practice right there of swapping money for need, transferring that energy. Imagine a group of people doing that for 500 years or more. That might be too magnificent. Imagine a group of people doing it for the past 50 years. And we know that didn't happen. Integration of yourself and healing from trauma and forgiving yourself of going for all of those bullshit systems that found out came to not be profitable in our life and found out, hey man, hey, I should have never been doing that shit, you know, and not being mad at the people who talked us into doing it, things like that. That's healing from the trauma and into self-love until boom, you got all of that energy on the outside of your body now. It's gone. You took the time to address it, you know what I'm saying? And now you're able to integrate what was left and build upon these principles, these concepts, this moral fiber that you've discovered that you are. You've awakened and recreated and reanimated yourself. That's the time that we're in right now. The reanimation of ourselves. We're elevating and growing into what? Into who we used to be. We're awakening to memories. Right now, we are awakening to memories. Memories of where we formerly had. And the thing is that there's one memory that is emboldened upon a whole lot of people. And it's superseding the truth. It's a false memory. It's being placed into their fucking consciousness by another place outside their body. And that's slavery. Black people have become intimately involved with fucking slavery. They love to talk about it. They have so much emotion involved in fucking slavery, when in fact they have not been a slave physically since on paper it says since 1865. That's when the last people were Galveston, Texas. But you keep talking about this fucking story. You can't get beyond this goddamn story. And they're motivated by this story. They keep talking about this story. They invoke themselves into that story. Meanwhile, if they would ever stop and detach from the story, they would possibly find that they're legitimately not in the story. And that's a transfer of energy that you're sitting around here thinking you repping life for some slaves, and you legitimately not kin to them. You're venerating the wrong energy. There are people, your ancestors, who have never been troubled by that bullshit. And you're not venerating them. So you cannot access their energy. You cannot access the energy and the knowledge of their wealth and their wisdom because you won't acknowledge them. The slave had no power. The slave had no power in life. How the fuck can he empower you in death? So certain things should not be inside yourself. And we got to discover these things. And so when we integrate, when we coming together in the fullness of self, we're not engrafting things into us that should not be. So, man, ascending consciousness, man, and it's becoming wise, literally. You're applying knowledge and wisdom. And you have to bring the fullness of yourself together, man, to be sure that you function at a high frequency out here, in this plane. That's like, like at the basic level right there, coming straight up out the third dimension of consciousness, at those lower vibrational frequencies that you're waking up from. Always remember, man, that it is not about the externalization of any experience outside your body. Whatever you experience inside your body, you should process it inside your body. Whatever you're experiencing outside your body, you should also process it from an aspect of outside of your body. If it should not enter into your consciousness, then it should not be there. Don't let it come. You don't accept trauma into your consciousness. Do not willfully accept trauma. That's why you be upset if somebody died that you had love for. Some fucking trauma. You don't like that shit. It's tragedy. You're not feeling tragedy. And so you shouldn't adopt other people's tragedy either. If you are integrating trauma and tragedy into your consciousness, then it's all you will exude, because it's what you will feel, because you're allowing yourself to become permeated with other people's story of oppression and suffrage. And it's piled on top of your own. Yours is legitimate, if there be any. I don't know. It may not even be any. That's what I'm saying. When you properly dissect yourself, there may be things you may have had yourself fucked up, like we say. Yeah. You may have received some misdiagnosis from other people outside your body. They told you some things about yourself that ain't even true. And you're intimating them, you're projecting them off what they said. Oftentimes we're feeling things of what they're projecting. When we discover our true self, we know our likes, our dislikes, our strengths, and our areas where we should seek growth. And, as we do these things, man, it helps us to respond to life in a logical, reasonable, and rational way at all times. This is how we should engage life. Everything inside your body is influencing what's going on the inside of your body. It's in your mindset. And if you're waking up, we've awakened to a high frequency thought and desiring to move at a high frequency rhythm and vibration out here, and these are the things that we got to do within self. Identify who you are. Detach from that shit that don't mean you no good, you feel? Integrate all of the strengths. This is how you become a new human. And from there, it's a constant ascension. That's what we know till we reach the Godhead, you feel me? And, not using the word God in a deification type of way. But if you're going to deify somebody, hell yeah, deify yourself. Straight up. Hey, but shit, anybody who watched this, y'all fuck with me, man. Follow me on Facebook, Mr. Black on Facebook. Got another place, Eye of Orion. It's EYE of OHR-ION. You know, and that's a whole nother thing like that I gave. I say I have a live posted on there though that I'm that y'all can check out what came up with that name or whatever. Also, I'm about to get my Instagram popping. Mr. Black over there, Mr. Black underscore YouTube, Mr. Black, which is where this video is going. Alright, Mr. Black, peace. Love y'all. Ashe.